Hey everyone, Miss Cutrera here. Today we're going to be drawing a Lamborghini Huracan, one of the most famous supercars of all time. So here we go. Okay, so our coloring materials are all right here. You guys can pause if you want to see the colors. Now what we're going to do for this Lamborghini is we're going to do the basic outline and then do the detail. So first we're going to start off with that hood. It's like a curve, then a smaller curve, then a straight piece for the windshield. And then we are going to go straight across for the top. And then it kind of curves inward on the back and then slightly around where the wheels are. And then we're going to start with the wheel over here. So the Lamborghini is very flat and there's going to be a lot of details that we'll do on the inside. Okay, so there was the bottom straight line, then the circle right here, this half kind of circle. And then we're going to do a oval for the wheel and try to fix that a little bit. Remember, if you do pencil first, that's going to make it better because you're going to mess up. You're going to erase. That's what I do. Try to get the base down. Then I do the marker on top. So the wheels are more like an oval because it's on an angle. So it's not like a normal circle because we're looking at it on an angle. And then now we're going to do the front has this little triangle, the vents in the front. There's actually a lot of detail. This is actually the new model of 2025. So it's a little changed from, I don't know if it was 2024 or a few years ago. They probably change every few years. So this one is slightly different than the previous models, like especially the front grille area. So there's a little detail there where it goes in and out, but if you kind of just do the basic, that's fine. All right, here's the spoiler in the back. And then the wheel goes inside of the frame a little bit. So you're going to see like the outside, but then the bottom right here, we're going to go inside. It's going to kind of overlap behind. And then we have a little circle here, or it's technically an oval. And then let's draw the tire. Sometimes I'll get a paper because it's easier. Sometimes I can smudge the paper. And also when you are moving your hand across paper, sometimes it's easier to move it with the paper than your hand can sometimes stick to the paper and mess it up. So sometimes I'll use this paper. You guys can try that out as well, especially if you guys have some pencil or marker that could smudge. So this area I fast forward a little bit because you can't really see with the angle, so I apologize for that. I'm still trying to work on that to try not to cut it out. So if you need to pause that or slow it down, you can. So here is the little air vents in the front, which like cool off the, I believe, the brakes and some of the intake. So it's kind of on this cool angle. So it's going to have a little different in the front grille. It's going to have the iconic one on the left, and then this right side is going to look a little different just because it's on a different angle. Okay, we're going to do, so there's basically 4 lines. There's the hood line and then 3 grille lines. Let me know if you guys are interested in some other car videos, or if you want a little easier version. This is kind of like medium version, so it's not too crazy, but there is a lot of detail. And then I'm gonna go pretty hard with the shading, so you can always make it simpler by not adding a lot of shading. So we plan to do a G-Wagon next. And then we also plan, one of my 5th grade students really likes the Nissan Skyline, a really iconic car. So I'm going to try to do that one eventually as well. All right. So we have a curve that follows the other curve for the side where the window is. And then here is the front mirror or the front glass. And then it kind of goes down with a square angle, so some straight lines. Then it has some little details in there. All right, then we're going to come straight across here. And then it has some little detail up there. Okay, now a straight line here. We're going to do the mirror. So also I do apologize. This marker was kind of, when it gets wet and also the way the light is hitting it, it's pretty bright and you can not see it that well on this angle, but I'm going to change that in a second so you can see it better. I also am trying to do more of just the Sharpie marker because it's a little thinner than this one, and I like that one better because you can get a little more detail. So maybe I'll get a paint marker that's a little thinner because I do like these paint markers. All right, so there's a lot of details here. We have that side piece that kind of looks like a football shape, and then it has a vent in the back. And then there's another vent here for the brakes in the back to cool them down. All right, a little reflector piece. Then we'll bring it there. We'll add some more detail with the color pencils. So we're about to fast forward the coloring process. So try to see how we shade it. That's a really important part. We do the base layer, and then we're gonna do the different shading and highlighting. And then we'll talk about what our next video will be. So we're just adding detail there. And then this one is farther away, so it's going to have a little less detail. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You can kind of make your own rim if you want. All right, and now we have a lot of detail inside the headlight, but that part we're going to use the really good detail. I like to use color pencil. All right, I'll see you guys in 2 minutes. Here we go. All right, and there it is, guys. I hope you guys followed along. Remember, you practice makes you perfect. So it took me a long time to get to this point. You guys got to practice to get better every day. And I love how the coloring just makes it so much better. It looked very basic. And then we do the coloring, it looks a lot better. And then when we do the shading with the highlights and shadows, it makes it look almost realistic. So I love that. So we did the black and white. We did some of the gray markers to build up the darkness of layers. And at the very end, I did white paint stick or white paint marker on top of the headlights to make it look like they're glowing. So that turned out really good. I also did the windshield. So I'm really happy with this. Thanks guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for some Shadow the Hedgehog videos, some easy ones, and some future car videos coming out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.